art plays a role in history by capturing generational issues. Thomas Hoppe introduces us to a Black artist who created a piece to spark discussions about critical race theory.
My goal is to tell the Black story through my point of view, and hopefully that the world will pick up on it and say, you know, I want to change my mind about how I felt about certain situations. It's not as wet, but it's still fluid.
Jonathan Harris, a Detroit artist, created that moment in time to discuss a social issue through a painting that may live on to tell stories about Black history in the U.S.
It's titled Critical Race Theory, and that piece, it shows our historical figures, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Harriet Tubman, on a road together, and a Caucasian figure painting over those figures.
What is critical race theory for you?
Well, it's the history of Blacks before America, coming to America, and in America. I just believe that history should be told. I know it's not pretty. I know it's very sad, but that's the way that you heal. You don't just, say that it didn't happen and try to cover it up. You have to address it head first, and that's all that Black people want, is to just say, hey, let's address this, and we can move forward.
Jonathan hopes this piece sparks a discussion for anyone who sees it.
That's the only way that we gonna get any progress. We got to be uncomfortable before we get comfortable, and we got to have tough conversations like this.
But more importantly, he hopes this generation of artists can have a positive impact on our country's future. I'm Thomas Hoppe reporting.
The racial reckoning that started with George Floyd's death in 2020.
What's his name? George Floyd!
Sparked changes to some of the biggest police forces in the country. Now, one small town sheriff is proving that diversity and inclusivity shouldn't be reserved only for big cities. That sheriff showed Vanessa Mashanya how he's breaking down barriers in many ways.
Most of your law enforcement agencies are in small towns. I don't think you have to be in New York City or Los Angeles County to make these huge changes that affect the nation. You can do it right in your own backyard.
If Aaron Applehands has one message, it's that change can happen anywhere.
Yes, we're kind of in the middle of the country, and yes, we're a fairly small town. You really can affect change.
Born in a big city, Applehands never thought he'd get into law enforcement, but life is a way of changing directions. For him, it was when a local chief approached him to become an officer.
Truth be told, I told him, I was like, I'm not a big fan of law enforcement. That's not something I think I really want to do.
It ended up becoming something he loved. 10 years later, a new opportunity knocked. Become the Albany County Sheriff, in turn, becoming Wyoming's first ever Black sheriff.
I was like, well, there's an opportunity, and I knew that the agency had a whole host of issues.
Although he's had the position for about a year now, he's already made changes.
You work within the system. You can see things that it does well. You can see its flaws. You can see its loopholes.
His main goal, fix the culture. In a rural town in the middle of the country, he made the department more transparent in dealing with the public. He started making the path to drug and alcohol rehab for repeat offenders clearer. And he focused on recruitment, specifically who he was recruiting.
Law enforcement traditionally has a really terrible job in terms of recruitment. They recruit the same type of people over and over and over again. When you go out in the community, you don't get to see the same person over and over and over and over again. Having a diverse workforce really makes some of those situations a lot easier, especially if you're going into a different household that has a different culture, knowing how to maybe talk and address some of those cultural issues.
He's filled 19 deputy positions, people of all different backgrounds and ethnicities. Now, some people who are on the force haven't liked these changes and have left. He even fired someone for past racist behavior, but he says all of this is necessary to make cultural change.
We're not into excluding people. So we're going to be as inclusive as we possibly can.
He's looking to hire more people in the coming months, continuing to build his vision of a more inclusive, community-focused force. As more people hear the story of what he's been able to do in a small town, he wants to make it clear. Change can happen in the most unlikely of places, and anyone interested in making that change shouldn't be afraid to take that initial step.
Sometimes you got to be the first so that second, third, and fourth can thrive as well. Got to take that chance, got to take that opportunity when it comes, and then go and create that opportunity for yourself.
I'm Vanessa Mishania.
From nightclub to grocery store, meet the man making sure a black community has access to fresh, local food.